Welcome back. You're watching Breaking Ground. Let's tell you how this incident, which has happened yet again, of malfunctioning in Spicejet. This regarding the Boeing 737 aircraft of Spicejet, which was operating, or rather flying, from Delhi to Dubai, and it had to be forced to divert to Karachi. This because of an indicator light malfunctioning. In fact, the aircraft landed safely at Karachi, and the silver lining behind all of it, of course, is that all the passengers managed to safely embark. So let me go across to Madhav Das Gopalakrishnan, who's joining us, our senior editor, with more details on this. Madhav, right after that, Spicejet had given out a statement saying that the aircraft landed safely in Karachi. All the passengers are safe. No emergency was declared, and there was no earlier report of any malfunction with the aircraft. However, repeatedly there are instances coming out from Spicejet, which is, of course, a budget airline, and the kind of malfunctions and snags that the flights have been seeing.
Well, no doubt about it. There have been a series of incidents that have taken place. That's absolutely right. But in this particular case, what is being cited by Spicejet is that A, there was no emergency landing as was earlier reported, and also there was no engine malfunction that was earlier reported. What has happened is that there was an indicator light malfunction, and that is why the pilot decided to land in Karachi. The flight, as we know, was going from Delhi to Dubai. So on the way, it has landed in Karachi. The landing was smooth. The passengers are all safe. And there is a replacement aircraft that has been sent to Karachi to actually carry the passengers onward to Dubai. But as you rightly put it, this is a question that even I have posed to regulators and the airline as to why there were so many incidents happening. And what the regulators really have to say is that if you look at it in terms of the total percentage of incidents in proportion to the total number of flights, it's pretty much as per international standards. And several of these incidents that have taken place, such as this, equipment malfunction or even bird hits, are beyond the control of either the regulator or the airline. But be that as it may, certainly a very, very important point, and it would have certainly caused a huge scare for the passengers on board those aircraft when all of these incidents have taken place. And certainly, of course, aviation regulators saying that they are ensuring that at no level in any of the low-cost airlines or even otherwise is safety as an issue ever compromised, because that is one thing which regulators will not tolerate, and they're continuing to conduct safety audits in different aircraft.
In fact, that's very important. We're asking you, the viewers, do you think enough emphasis has been paid on passenger safety? And Madhav, if I can come back to you, ironically, this is coming at a time where airfares are phenomenally high. When people pay so much money, and we are inviting our viewers to connect with us. You can pick up your phones and connect with us at the numbers there at the bottom of your screens. Tell us, what do you think? Do you think passenger safety is a priority or not for these airliners? And Madhav, coming back to you, questions are being asked because passengers are literally paying through their nose to buy such expensive tickets as they have to now.
Well, absolutely. There's no two ways about it that passengers have to pay through their nose. Tickets have become more expensive post-COVID. And also, of course, with input costs such as aviation, turbine fuel only on the rise post the Ukraine war, we are looking at a situation where airlines say they have no other option but to increase prices. But the larger question is this, that while they may increase prices, as far as safety and other standards are concerned, do airlines proportionally also have that priority as far as safety issues are concerned? That's certainly a very, very pertinent question that passengers appear to be posing.
Well, in fact, Madhav, do stay on with us. This is, of course, a call-in show, so you, the viewers, can connect with us directly at the numbers there at the bottom of your screens. But let me also go across to someone who really understands what the rules and the regulations are. Captain Amit Singh is joining us. He's the founder of Safety Matters Foundation, which is an NGO. Captain Singh, if you can explain to us, we as passengers, we feel that we pay through our nose to buy tickets, and we are being told that there is an aviation watchdog which is going to ensure our safety. On the ground, is that happening? What are the checks and balances where we are going wrong in?
Which is prevailing in aviation at present. If you see Spicejet as it is, has been in the news for all the wrong reasons, a lot of technical issues, be it the 737 or the ATR, but it generally points out that there is something wrong. If there is something wrong, then there has to be more stringent measures which have to be taken to ensure that the checks and balances are there, especially from the regulator's side. Recently, I think the head of safety was transferred from the post, which is a big indicator that there is something which is wrong. Who was the replacement? I'm not sure. But there has to be a message which has to be sent out to the stakeholder, which
There seems a bit of a problem there. We'll just try and reconnect with Captain. Captain, we'll just come back to you. One of our viewers is calling us. Nitin, our viewer from Noida. Go ahead, Nitin.
Calling from Noida. So basically, I have very credible information since I have few friends flying in Spicejet, and it's happening only in Spicejet with a mere fleet of 30-40 airplanes, whereas we have other airlines having almost 100, maybe 80 or maybe 200 aircrafts, India or Indigo. So what the credible information, what I want to share is that the entire safety is being compromised because of the different attitude of the hierarchy sitting in Spicejet and the owners. And believe me, if DGCA doesn't come in play, some bigger mishap is going to take place. So we really need to either ground Spicejet aircraft, or DGCA has to really come with a big stick on the owners and then this hierarchy sitting there.
You've made a very relevant point. In fact, even as we speak, Nitin, ironically, right now we have this big breaking news which is coming in that the DGCA indeed has stepped in and it has ordered a probe. But let me take that point that Nitin has already raised along with the breaking news of DGCA, which has already stepped in. Captain Singh, if I can come back to you, is it an airline-specific problem or is it a larger question of safety norms not being followed as they should be?
It is more of an airline problem. You see, it stems from two things, the technical and the financial issues. After the Kingfisher debacle, there was a regulation which was introduced that if there is an airline which is undergoing some sort of a financial crisis or a problem, there would be extra checks to ensure that safety is not being compromised. Because when there is a financial crunch, of course, spares and technical parts of the aircraft would have to be bought or loaned. So does the airline have the wherewithal to do that, or aircraft? And MAX already is involved in a lot of issues, especially a different model, 737-9, which was involved in a fuel sealant issue, in which Boeing admitted that they haven't put a fuel sealant. So who has oversight of all these things, whether the manufacturer is sending the right parts? Is the airline, there was an airline or government airline which was buying cheap spares from redundant or from the aircraft which are parked in the desert just to save money. So these are all the cost-cutting measures which the airline resort to. So that is when the watchdog has to keep a sharp eye on what is happening.
But Captain Singh, now that there are repeated instances which are coming in specifically from Spicejet, even earlier there was smoke in the cabin and we are putting out visuals of that, and several others. There are at least 4 different snags, as they are calling it, technical snags in their aircraft. Do you think at least a thorough step needs to be taken by the DGCA, perhaps even ground till there is a thorough probe into the entire matter and all the aircrafts are given a proper test?
Firstly, the top management has to be, the credentials have to be scrutinized. Proper people have to be in place, proper systems, their processes. Repeated audits have found that processes were lacking. And it is also showing DGCA in a bad light because every year there are certain audits conducted. Why are these things not picked up in the regular audits? Why do we have to undergo special audits, extraordinary audits after every incident? In the normal process, why is it not happening? Which means there's a breakdown in the whole system of checks and balances. So we call it a pathological state wherein the operator tries to hide things and will only reveal only when they are caught. So that is the lowest level of safety culture, which is prevalent in Indian aviation. So we have to move beyond that, wherein if there is a problem, you have to clearly admit it and move in a collaborative manner, which means the regulator will also help you, but the operator themselves have to be open, come out clean. And the problem
and that seems to be the crux of the problem, for the operators themselves to take onus and come clean, as Captain Singh is saying. Another one of our viewers, Shrikant, is calling us from Chennai. Go ahead, Shrikant. looks like we've lost that audio connection. So, Captain Singh, if I can come back to you, you were making a very important point about the operators themselves coming clean. In the past, have there been examples where such airlines are being brought to book by the aviation watchdog? After all, what is the DGCA's role in all of this other than routine checks and sending out and ordering probes?
See, there is a system. A system has to have a feedback process, a loop, which gets closed once an investigation happens. A thorough inquiry happens, a report comes out, it is tabled, and all the stakeholders have a look at it and find out where the exact problem is, the root cause. The whole problem in our industry is that we don't address the root cause. We address the proximate cause, what created or what resulted in this incident. But if it repeats itself, which means the root cause has not been addressed, the Accident Investigation Bureau, which is in charge of the accidents, so those reports, the quality of the reports is so poor and biased that we don't exactly know what went wrong. So as a result, things keep reoccurring. Spicejet had a fuel issue in 2020, a flight from Bombay to Guwahati, diverted to Calcutta, for the same reason, suspected fuel leak. So an inquiry, a thorough inquiry will have to see how many such cases or near misses have happened. There are different theories in safety, in the safety parlance, which say that before every major incident or an accident, there are a number of small incidents. So if you don't pick up these small things, then you're waiting for a big bang, as the viewer just said. So that is what we have to look out for. And we have high reliability organization concepts wherein you use a lot of data. So our issue is that we don't use any data or minimal data. The safety management system has failed repeatedly, and that has been pointed out by the regulator. And especially Spicejet has been involved in a lot of issues of safety management system, be it crew fatigue, or the flight duty limitations, or the engineering snags. So if there is a snag and a repeated snag, which is not addressed, has to be investigated thoroughly. So how does one address all these issues? It is the system which has to address, and the regulator has to monitor that the system is functioning as a check.
Yes, Captain Singh, you know, there's a larger problem that this airlines is staring at. It's not just about safety. There are very frequent cancellations, a lot of passenger inconvenience that is caused repeatedly, and that's the viewers' feedback. We've gone through certain reports that have suggested how these technical snags have reoccurred at least 4 to 5 times in the last 3 months alone. So all in all, there seems to be a problem that needs to be addressed.
So as I said, that a lot of data needs to be analyzed if there are flight delays. So DGCA has on paper all sort of regulations,
yes.
But how
Captain
well is it implemented on ground? That's the issue.
Thank you so much for sharing that perspective and putting to light